Welcome to the Sleuth Intuition YouTube channel. Sit back, relax and chillax for a few.
Just take it easy, man.
You know, that's your answer for everything, dude.
Now just go, oh. What? Do it, man. Oh. 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 Shit.
Don't be a scrub.
No scrubs.
Hit the thumbs up. Welcome to the Sleuth Intuition YouTube channel. Sit back, relax and chillax for a few.
Just take it easy, man.
You know, that's your answer for everything, dude.
Now just go, oh. What? Do it, man. Oh. 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 Shit.
What is up, everybody? Just take it easy. Say om. It's a mantra. Well, I hope everybody's having a great day. I recently watched something on Netflix called Death, Lies, and the Internet. I couldn't help but think about Delphi when I was watching a couple of the episodes regarding catfishing and techniques people use for fishing for information. That way they can kind of find images that you may have taken, that you've saved maybe in a email or something. They'll track that down, um, and then they'll sextort you. They'll tell you, hey, they'll demand that you give them more images, or they're going to go ahead and show the image that they were able to find to your friends and family. So I highly recommend that. It's called Death, Lies, and the Internet. There's a bunch of other stuff on there too, other stories, but it's really good. I've been enjoying it. And I'm going to play a few random videos before we get into the whole Man in Black debacle. One is in regards to phishing online. And I specifically wanted to kind of bring some awareness to the tactics that are used. And we'll go into that after this video here.
Enter your pet's name into the GIF bar and see what Facebook finds. Another says, to honor a pet you miss dearly, post their name. Many disclose this information without a second thought, but some are questioning the intent. Pets' names are very common security questions.
If I can find out what your pet's name is, or what your favorite sport is, or get an understanding of what things you like on social media, I could use that to theoretically impersonate you if I call your bank and try to verify myself on your behalf to get access to your account, change your password, and then do whatever I want with your account.
Dr. Richard Forno is the Cybersecurity Graduate Program Director at UMBC. He says while posts like this don't necessarily set off alarms, it shows the power of social media.
Social media is very tempting to pass along private information or personal information, even if it's not private, that could be possibly used against us.
He says the easiest way to keep your information safe is to think before you click.
Always keep in the back of your mind, who may see this information? And I don't want to turn people into paranoid citizens, but really we live in an age where there's so much information about us out there that's already publicly available. Why make more problems for ourselves?
And if you want to go even further, consider changing up your security questions.
Those aren't questions for a government security application. So no one says you have to tell the truth. The teller at the bank or the customer service representative on the phone or the other computer, they don't care what the answer is as long as whatever I tell them matches what they have in their system. So that right there makes it more difficult for a bad guy to guess. If my favorite car is Chewbacca, they're probably not going to guess that.
Working for you, Abby Isaacs, WMAR2 News.
So yeah, you got to be careful with the information that you're providing online. And one of the segments on the Death, Lies, and the Internet program that Netflix is putting out, they were doing a story on somebody who was catfishing girls around 14, 15, 16 years old in high school between a certain amount, I think from like 2014 to 2017. I could be off on the dates. But from one thing I've learned from researching all of this stuff here is it always comes with a preemptive strike. You know what I mean? Like with Keegan Klein, he had the Emily Ann 45 account. He acted most likely like a young girl. He would come in nice and, gathering information and intel, and then convince you to go talk to, the father or the brother whose name is Keegan Klein. And then he's able to step in. He's already built himself up for this person, and he's able to sneak in there. Well, the same thing was happening with this catfish guy. He came in with an Anthony Shots type account, good-looking guy, and befriended the girls. I don't want to give away the whole story because there's kind of it's actually very interesting, and I don't want to give it away. But basically, he would come in, become friends with his target, ask questions like, oh, what was the name of your first pet? oh, blah, and he would write it down. And then he would go into, let's say, your email account and say, hey, I need to reset the password. And then it would provide all the security questions. So while he's talking to his targets and his victims, he's just going down the list. Oh yeah, what would like what's your mother's maiden name, or before she was married, what was her last name, or something along those lines. So it's a preemptive strike, gathering intel, and then once he gained access to everything, he basically took over these girls' lives. And I think one of them may have, if not committed suicide, attempted suicide. So, I mean, it was some really messed up stuff. I think I have two more stories, some local stories to Indiana, I guess within two-hour drive from Delphi. Both of them interesting, involving child predators. Just some stuff I was looking at this morning, and I said, hell with it. I guess I'll share it with you guys. Let's start with this article here. Yeah, I thought I had another article, but I may not have grabbed it. Kyle Miotke from Kearney, Nebraska, 20-year-old Colorado man is facing sex trafficking and kidnapping charges after he was found with a 13-year-old girl reported missing from Lafayette, Indiana. Troopers with Nebraska State Patrol found Kyle Miotke of Elizabeth, Colorado, with the teen girl shortly after police in Lafayette, Indiana notified them that the missing girl would be traveling through the state with a man. A trooper spotted a Ford F-150 being driven by Miotke and stopped it as it was traveling west on Interstate 80 near Kearney. During the stop, the trooper found the missing girl hiding in the pickup. Officials arrested Miotke on a charge of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Police in Indiana later filed additional charges, including promotion of sexual trafficking of a young child, performing sexual conduct in the presence of a minor, inappropriate communication with a child via an electronic device, and dissemination of matter harmful to minors. He remained jailed Friday in Buffalo County, Nebraska. Jail records show. Authorities continue to investigate. So that story's pretty new. I guess we can look at this picture one more time. All right. Kyle Miotke. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And then this next story is about a man named Brian Kuntz. He's 32, out of Valparaiso, Indiana. Now, the reason that I took notice on this case is something John Douglas said. in regards to the audio. He said it made him think of somebody that is usually works with kids, like a coach or a teacher or something you would say to not only boys but girls as well is guys. So when I read this report this morning, I was like, wow. This is also the first time I've heard of a place called Valparaiso. I'm sure you Indiana folks know all about it. So apparently it's about an hour and a half drive. All right. So let's take a look at a quick video of Brian Kuntz. It's a news report that came out not too long ago.
Former Wheeler High School teacher sentenced to 12 years for receiving child porn.
Well, that's the second one I wanted to play. Hold on.
For a grade. That is the allegation tonight against a Northwest Indiana teacher. A 17-year-old female student says this man, Brian Kunze, told her she had to do that in order to keep her A in class. Kunze was a teacher at Wheeler High School in Valparaiso, Indiana. We are showing his mugshot tonight because police believe there may be other victims out there. The incident dates back to May of 2019. Kunze hasn't worked there since. The student alleged that Kunze pressured her to send nude photos. Police say when they seized the teacher's cell phone and computers, others' victims surfaced. Kunze was arrested and charged today with receiving child pornography.
A former Wheeler High School teacher was sentenced to 12 years in prison following his guilty plea to receiving child pornography, according to a release from the U.S. Attorney's Office. Brian Kunze, 32, of Valparaiso, was sentenced by United States District Court Judge Philip P. Simon following his guilty plea, according to acting U.S. Attorney Gary Bell. Kunze was sentenced to 12 years in prison, followed by 10 years of supervised release and ordered to pay $10,000 in restitution to each of the 3 identified victims of this case, a release said. According to documents in the case, Kunze, a former Wheeler High School teacher, used his position of authority at the school to cause one of his minor students to take and send him sexually explicit photos. A digital forensic examination of devices seized by federal law enforcement agents from Kunze's home also revealed that he knowingly obtained sexually explicit photos of other minors he knew to be under the age of 18 because they attended the school where he taught, the release said. In total, Kunze admitting to receiving and possessing more than 150 images depicting minors being caused to engage in sexually explicit conduct, according to the release. This case was being investigated by the FBI with the assistance of the Porter County Sheriff's Department and Michigan City Police Department. The case was being prosecuted by Assistant U.S. Attorney Jill Koster.
Yeah, so I thought that was another interesting story.
To me that there may be he may know these victims, or it's a person like if he's dealing with children, girls and boys, he won't say boys, he will say guys. So someone who has interaction with children.
When you say somebody who works with children, a coach, a teacher, what does that say to you, like profession-wise?
Yeah, it was almost how like a school teacher would tell kids.
Abby Williams and her best friend Libby Jerk.
Okay, so I found this online. April sketch was a man seen down at the south end of the afternoon. It came from a lady that lives on 625. I was told about it quite a ways back by another member in this group. I thought it was irrelevant, and then I was beyond surprised when law enforcement released it. I believe it has no bearing whatsoever on the case. Oh, this looks like it's from Tara German. Douglas Rice. I can say when I got there, there were a few kids that I knew that went to school with Libby, and they were under the bridge as well. So I'm going to say that is not uncommon. So there's the rumor mill at its finest. And we're going to jump into the Man in Black now. I'm going to play the video clip here. This is the first time I ever heard of it.
Tips. Friday evening, state police hurry into the cemetery, returning to the crime scene. Undercover officers did some work and left about 20 minutes later. The same time, troopers checking out a car left at the High Bridge trailhead. Turned out to be a woman and kids out walking. Shows the high pace of police activity that will go through the weekend, they say. Near sunset, up on High Bridge Trail,
I thought it was important to do.
Chastity Gerald knew both Libby German and Abby Williams, the girls murdered not far from here. Libby was a good friend.
She loved to swim. And she's like always nice and happy.
Still hard to believe that it's happened, she says. Chastity was not on the trail Monday, but her friends were, and they told about a man they saw.
Yeah, they said that they had said hi and he just like brushed them off and kept going.
Did they think he was strange, out of place, or?
They said he was, but then again, it could just be a rumor.
They described him dressed in black. Meanwhile, police continue the search for this man. He would have been on the trail the same time as the girls. They say they want to talk to him about what he saw. And last night's search of a Delphi house will not lead to an arrest in this case, police say.
You can still feel the tension with it. Before it was peace.
Yeah, so the same time they're kind of mentioning this guy in black, they're also mentioning the search warrant.
Then again, it could just be a rumor.
They described him dressed in black. Meanwhile, police continue the search for this man. He would have been on the trail the same time as the girls. They say they want to talk to him about what he saw. And last night's search of a Delphi house will not lead to an arrest in this case, police say.
You can still feel the tension with it. Before it was peace.
Well, I mean, that pretty much that will segue better into the LM search warrant. So let me pull that up.
Home
near Delphi after police served a search warrant. This comes after state police and the FBI were at the home looking for anything related to the double homicide case. News 18's Alexis Moberger joins us live at the home and reports how police expect to serve more warrants. Alexis?
Brittany, we just spoke with Sergeant Kim Riley, and he says he doesn't expect anything to come out of tonight's search warrant. He says investigators plan to make more search warrants as more tips come in. He says as long as they can get a judge to sign off on the warrant, they expect to search many more homes. At this time, no arrests have been made and no one has turned themselves in. Investigators were at this home in the 1100 block of Bicycle Bridge Road in Delphi. We could see them gathering evidence and taking pictures of the property. At its height, state police, the FBI, and the Carroll County Sheriff's Office were on scene. Police still have not identified the photo they released yesterday of the man in a blue coat and jeans walking on the High Bridge Trail. Sergeant Riley told us they have received more than 200 calls about it. He says police are doing everything they can to catch whoever is responsible.
Oh, wow.
Reporting live in Carroll County, Alexis Moberger, News 18.
So I also found this online. Apparently it's from Tara German, Facebook. There was a kid named LM that Libby had chatted with. LM's dad's oldest son's name is LM, but he didn't live at home at the time of the murders. I found out a few months after the search that he bought a house a block away from me. That kid is definitely creepy and is also someone I seen the day of the 13th on the railroad tracks that lead to the bridge. Also, LM's father has several firearms, and many were taken out the night of the search. I wonder if that alone was enough to allow them a search warrant.
This morning in the small town of Delphi.
Last night, as we mentioned, police served that search warrant at a home on Bicycle Bridge Road near the Wabash River. What we can tell you this morning, this all started on Monday when the parents of these two young girls reported them missing.
Sure, and of course there have been so many questions, new information. Matt McCutcheon there doing some digging for us this morning. He is live with the reason investigators went to that house in the first place. Good morning, Matt.
Ben and Julia, good morning. This wraps up a week of a little bit of information trickling out slowly here in this case, but still the big question remains about who killed those girls and why. We know very little information about what happened here at this home in rural Delphi, but we do know investigators came here around 7 o'clock last night, and there were several of them. Video shows the scene as police, not just from the city and the county here, but also Indiana State Police, even the FBI were told, making the scene here last night as they started that investigation into the home. At this hour, there is no word on any arrests in this case. The police did spend several hours here. We do know at least collecting evidence, and that evidence is related somehow in this case, but police are keeping that information close to the vest because of this hour they do not want that to jeopardize the investigation. Also, police are not releasing the name of the person who lives here, and they also are not saying if this is the man they have so desperately wanted to get in contact with after circulating that picture. So again, questions continue here this Friday morning, wrapping up a week of questions in this case, but police say they continue to remain on it and remain sorting through hundreds of tips they have received since this story broke on Monday. Now, we do expect more information here in the day ahead. Of course, we'll keep you posted here on air and online. For now, reporting live in Delphi, I'm Matt McCutcheon, Channel.
Okay. So basically, LM was spotted, I believe, somewhere around here on these railroad tracks. So if you know anything about that area, right behind Freedom Bridge here, where you park, the parking area for the Monon Trail here that leads you to the bridge. If you take the trail back this way, there's a path that leads you directly to these railroad tracks back here. Now, for him, he must have been taking the railroad tracks back home to Bicycle Ridge Road. That's right here, Bicycle Bridge Road. It's about a 2.5 mile walk. All right. And then we also have talk early on about 2 teenagers following Libby and Abby, possibly the same person who was the dog lady. We have talk about some other Snapchat photos where there was 2 guys in the background wearing all black. One of them was wearing a scream mask with the tongue coming out. So those are all the things that are rumored here, but it's funny that you have these rumors and then you have stuff like this here. So let me show you page 165 of Keegan Klein's interview transcript. And then we're going to take a look at somebody that's mentioned in this page here. Okay. So law enforcement's asking Keegan, I told you it was at your house, exactly. And then it went to where? It wasn't grandma and grandpa's, I can tell you that much. Well, where was it? Where was it? Was it in Peru? Like, well, I was in Peru, right? So they're like, yep, exactly. Country Club Road. Whose house is that? Country Club Road? I have no clue. That's where my grandma lives. I mean, my grandma lives on out by Papa. Okay, so you know Country Club and Papa meet automatically right there. You know what I mean? Right. It wasn't there. Country Club Road and Papa Pike meet. I understand that. You connected to a Wi-Fi source that was in that house. No, I did not. I'm telling you 1000%, I don't go anywhere besides friend one's and my grandma's. So why would you? Why did you tell investigators that you went there when you didn't? Because he was like, well, where do you go? That's the only place I go. So it's very interesting because in the next few pages, it literally gives you the name of the person. And if you check out this person's Facebook page, those rumors don't seem so strange anymore. They seem a little bit more important. So the person who lives at the address they're referring to on that street on October 3rd, 2016, posted a picture of a scream mask with the tongue. This is literally the stuff the rumor mill is built of. But it's just so interesting. Yeah, Pawpaw Road. Well, that's where his grandparents live, I guess. But that's not where his phone was. Okay, let's see here. Who else we got? And then so then we have JP, who Harvey Carroll thinks possibly might be the man in black, unrelated, of course, to the crime, but a person that was there and who is most likely already identified. But he thinks that that may be the person in black that everybody's trying to identify. So, I mean, it would be very easy to ask the people who reported the man in black, did they see somebody similar to this? Because I believe that's the jacket he told me he was wearing. He said it's just a cheap jacket from Walmart. So that's obviously not, what the bridge guy was wearing. But that could be the guy that they referred to as the man in black. And this is actually from February of 2017, straight from Google. Pulled it right off the internet. Dark work pants, dark jacket, dark hat. He says, I came out on the bridge, crossed Freedom Bridge, and then he was like, oh man, I saw some people and I turned around. And this image here was also most likely taken the same time as the other one, same day. Black jacket. Google hat. So, I mean, he could very easily, if he was wearing that, that's the man in black. And then I went and took a little snippet of his interview that I did with him where he talks about being at the bridge. Yeah, who knows?
Well, somebody that wasn't well-rounded, I suppose. I think that's a good term for it, well-rounded.
Well, that's pretty interesting, man. So I guess you might have some insight on what was going on. Do you see any cars parked anywhere? Anything strange like that?
Yeah, no, because I wouldn't have gotten out. If I had any indication that anybody was on that trail, I wouldn't even have started walking on it.
Oh, okay. So you probably weren't familiar with the regular parking area, huh? I heard it's hard to find. Yeah, it's hard to find. Like, you got to know where it's at.
The parking area that I went to is right off of the highway. You turn right, and then you turn right again, and then right again, and then up a hill, I think it is.
At that little building? The little building right there?
No, there's not a little building.
Or it's an actual parking area?
It's an actual parking area.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It'd be on the north end of the bridge.
Oh, so you walked across that big bridge, the blue one?
Yes. Yeah,
Freedom
that's where
Bridge.
I started out.
Yeah, Freedom Bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is that what it's called now?
I think it's called Freedom Bridge.
Yeah, I started walking across that Freedom Bridge.
And you didn't see anybody out there?
I don't think so. And that's what I'm thinking is I walked across that bridge and started to walk down that trail, and maybe I saw somebody or maybe I didn't, but I didn't keep going down the trail.
You just said, heck with this, too much traffic.
Well, I don't think there was any traffic. Because you walk over the bridge, and that's why if I actually remember this correctly, because memories get jumbled up, that's part of the problem with secondhand statements and such. But if I walked across the bridge and saw the two girls walking down the trail, and I would have turned around, I would have passed the guy. I may have not even said anything to him, but it would have been, how are you? Or probably didn't say anything to him. And I feel like he was a weird, creepy guy. And I'm like, no, it's fine. It's nothing weird about this. I feel like I kind of just brushed it off and left, and that is gonna break me if that's what happened. Because I should have fucking done something.
Yeah, that's crazy. You were a lot closer than you.
So those are the candidates. So who could possibly be the man in black? In my opinion. Or was it just made up? Was it just a lie? Let's see what you guys had to say. Send the poll here. So the man in black, was he identified and questioned? 10%. Just a rumor or a lie? 25%. Associated with Keegan Klein in some way? 10%. Who knows anymore? Majority votes for who knows anymore. I agree with that. Who knows? Like, what's real and what's fake with this? Yeah, the transcript, we know about the money account. What does that mean? The money account. What money? What the hell is really going on? Yeah, I gave the account password to a lot of people. I don't know, just reading the transcript, and it kind of helped paint a picture of what it was like there at, Keegan Klein's, him and his dad's house, with the neighbor coming over, them doing drugs, him really not having a 9 to 5. I could see him showing off and being like, look, check this out. And if any of the dark web stuff is true, who knows what's going on? Maybe he's, selling that information for people who are trying to go out of state. Maybe that's some type of way these killers get away with it. They find somebody who catfishes somebody anonymously, and then they reach out to them anonymously, and then no relation to the target, they go commit this act and then go right back home. Maybe that's what was going on with the whole Vegas stuff. Who knows? First, we got to prove that Klein was connected somehow, which he could be the guy on the bridge. Very, it's very likely. I mean, you can only imagine if the face is that jumbled, pixelated and blurred and focused and unfocused, then so is the rest of the body, I mean, we have really no idea on proportions. We could be looking at a much taller person who somehow appears to be shrunken. We can be looking at a very short person who seems to be now taller or stretched. Or maybe wider shoulders. Or maybe even appear to be a little bit husky. Oops, sorry, Lynn. Yep, I heard that as well. Yeah, if it was one person, makes me think military, but if it was two, no. And it wouldn't have to be military, but I would say military, law enforcement, some form of training. Yeah, it's so tough. Yeah, I wonder if that's what they mean by the money account, or did they maybe send Libby a card and they were putting money in the account? Or maybe it was like an Apple account. Holly Southern Style says, just curious, how did Keegan know that the guy he stole the pictures from was from Alaska? In the profile, from Alaska to Idaho. I think it was Alaska to Indiana. It didn't sit right with me. The model cop was smirking in his interview. You're still suspicious of the cop? I think what Keegan did was he picked his guy. He's like, okay, we're going to use this guy for my catfish account. But he knows that some of the girls are going to be smart enough to look into this guy, So he wants to make sure some of his information matches, that way. You got to remember, it wasn't his first rodeo. Delphi. Yeah, Delphi seems sketchy. Yeah, almost like it's zooming in and out, trying to focus at the same time. Yeah, I think he just did a little bit of homework. Go around it. Imagine going around a whole state. You're like, nope, I'm not even going through it. I'm just going to go right around. That's fucked up. Yeah, I've had that same thought as well. I even had a theory where, like, they separated the girls somehow. Let's say it's a single person and Abby was hanging back while Libby, was going to go cross the creek to have some privacy. The killer kills her and says, "Well, I need to bring you. I need to show you. I need to show you something. I need to bring you to your friend." And when she gets there, she's like, "What the f?" And then before anything can happen, he attacks her or something like that. I don't know. I just struggled to explain, why there was no real struggle from the girls, but yet there was, like a ton of blood. There's no reason to be a ton of blood if they're not even fighting. So to me, that's like a crime of passion. Crime of passion is usually by somebody that you know. So, I mean, those two things right there, it's just hard. I don't, those are the two pieces of information that bother me the most. Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. Civic mindedness brings up a good point. I've watched a lot of the news clips regarding this case and noticed an older man in all black walking into the fire station when searchers were gathering there. Also, there was a news reporter who went out there at 3 a.m. She was out between 2 and 3, just long enough to catch Mike Patty waking up and coming back out. Well, she was sitting outside of the fire station, and there was a guy. He comes out in a hat and a hoodie. And I think it's like a blue looking hoodie and blue jeans. Like he matches perfectly with the description. And I'm just like, who is that guy? And why? And he looked all nervous because there was police that were kind of walking out of the building with him. And they were behind him, and he turns around kind of nervous and like ducks into a corner and just kind of lets them pass by. I always thought that was interesting. I actually caught it on video. I put it on one of my last live streams. What's up, Frank? Hey, man, you just caught us right at the tail end. And we're about to hit the 1 hour mark. And then I'm going to be out of here. Yeah, so I would say 60 feet from the southeast side of the bridge is where the video starts. And then after he walks that 60 feet, he probably takes the girls, another few feet, and then that's it. Boom. I agree, tax cut. Not that I know of. On the flip side. Yeah. If you hit a major artery, you don't have much time. And that's how forensic scientists can kind of figure out what's what, If you're laying in a place and you're sliced up, but there's no blood, they're going to say, well, the body was moved. Or he was sliced up after he was already pronounced dead or whatever. They just have ways of knowing things. Yep. That would be awful. Well, cops, how do other cops catch killers with one hair follicle? Well, they find the person, with the same hair. Then they match it. And they're like, hey. But unfortunately, it's like they're just sitting around waiting on good tips, like probably going through the tip like bad, kind of like a Tinder app, you know, all these tips, they're just swiping. Ooh, what's that? Yeah, I wonder if that affidavit is incorrect. I wonder how much of that information is 100% accurate. Because it's almost just a formality. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. I feel like I have a sneeze balling up. It's building. I'm wondering if the girls went down. Like, what if he was able to kind of sheepdog him down, but he doesn't follow? He sees him kind of stumble, maybe struggle, and he sees him kind of run down. And what if the bridge guy just goes back across the bridge? Back towards the north side, and then heads towards Ron Logan's property up on the ridge. And that way he can kind of look down and see them hiding. And maybe they just waited it out, or maybe he tormented them from that side of the bridge, like you're not coming back up this way or whatever, and then cut them off. And then eventually they were like, hey, we got to cross this damn creek. And then once they cross the creek, he's already waiting to ambush them from the other side. Because if that theory only works if the time of death is like 3:30, because you're trying to figure out really how did they spend all that time from 2:13 to 3:30. That's a long period of time for nobody to see you. So I'm wondering, maybe the girls hid. Maybe they're like, damn, we got to hide from this guy, and they just kind of hid out for a little while. And then they were like, well, we can always cross the sandbar. Let's cross the sandbar right here. And the whole time he's just kind of watching them. Maybe that's just a theory. That's the theory comes from trying to explain why a killer would want to put himself in that cold water. That's where that theory comes from. Now, a lot of people ask that question. Why would the killer want to go through that water? Was he prepared for it? Yeah, they have some kind of DNA. Scientific. They have a few different pieces of DNA. One's human and one's scientific, according to Kim Riley. 8 pints of blood, 6 pints will bleed out of you. It doesn't seem like a whole lot of container, but yeah, creepy guy. No, which image? How can I see that? I would like to see it. Oh no, you're right. I did see it. I think Hoosier Cold Cases posted it. Hopefully he's going to be dedicating some time. Oh, is that what he was doing? He was out there streaming? Yeah, I know he helped with that case. So it's good to see him out there. I wonder if he's just checking it out or if he's got something, going on. Wonder if he's going to, dedicate some of his time. I would like to hear his opinion on all this stuff that we're always blabbing about, we just don't know what it is. We don't know what to grasp onto. I wonder what he thinks. Who? I don't see a Donna. So it's probably somebody that was blocked. What's the question? Yeah, I can't see this person's comment, so. Yeah, whoever the Donna person is, go ahead and just block them. I can't see what they're writing, but I would just block them. No, just get them out of here. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so hopefully you guys blocked her again. Her, him, or whoever. Well, that person was already blocked before they came in here, so they're probably using a fake name. Or did something prior. Might have to get some new mods. Well, guys, I think that's going to do it. We're at the hour and 5-minute mark. I appreciate everybody that showed up and had to hear what I had to say and, things that I wanted to share here on my channel. If you have any questions, corrections, feel free to email me at sleuthintuition@gmail.com or go ahead and leave a comment here on the video. And I'm sure I'll see you again on another live stream here very soon when I can find some more time. So you guys take care.